Why do you need agility? Well, if you're a team sport athlete, every movement you make is about creating space or taking space. And since sport doesn't occur in two dimensions, you are going to need to use efficient and effective multi-directional technique to create separation offensively or collapse space defensively. This is the difference between elite play and just being a body on the field. The problem with most agility training is that it's just choreography masquerading as elite change of direction. If you want to have elite change of direction capabilities, you need to do three things better than your competition: brake, reorient, and propel. Every transition starts with braking. Depending on how much of an angle change you need, you may have minimal braking or quite a bit. What you need to know is that this creates a bend or flexion through the system and allows you to wind up and prepare for pushing in the intended direction. Next, the reorientation. This is about organizing your body so that you have momentum in the intended direction of travel. And finally, the propulsion. This is what characterizes fast from slow change of direction. If you do everything right up to this point, this is where you'll maximize the separation you create. Despite these very clear needs for change of direction, many coaches and athletes are falsely led to believe that fast feet are the gateway to improved agility. The contact times in change of direction are among the longest with sporting movements. This means you are absorbing and producing a massive amount of force over fast but slightly longer ground contact times. Most agility drills simply focus on fast feet, but without the forces necessary to explode. In today's video, we're going to ditch the dress rehearsal and start developing your ability to plant, brake, and separate. To my way of thinking, there are three principles to consider when evaluating whether or not your change of direction is effective. Number one, changing levels. In order to create elite separation, you have to be able to change levels and create some degree of triple flexion through the system. Again, this will depend on the angle of your transition, with faster cuts requiring less flexion and more aggressive angles of attack requiring more. Number two, the plant angle must occur outside of your body. Without establishing an angle to push off of, you'll never be able to direct forces in the direction you want to go, requiring you to spend more time in the cut and giving opponents more time to react and negate your offensive or defensive actions. Number three, last, you need agreement of the foot, hip, and knee. This starts with establishing proper ground contact throughout the entirety of the foot. At the turnaround point of the cut, this instantaneous transition between where you slow down and where you actually re-accelerate, you'll want to capture medial foot contacts. This is known as the inside edge, or as I like to say, the gas pedal. I'm looking for an athlete to feel the heel and the ball of their big toe. This creates a foot that can pronate and push force into the ground. Slow athletes tend to have trouble capturing this position, creating a stiff ankle that rolls outward. Also, by capturing this position, you'll pull the knee and hip into alignment or agreement with the foot, ensuring you're explosive and reducing the risk for injury. Now, let's get into the session.
A simple way to start the session is with the reach and roll. This gives us the opportunity to get the athlete's center of mass shifting left to right. From here, we can start to look at the foot angles, the trunk position, as well as if they're able to maintain the proper orientation of their trailing leg as they push off. If your athletes have trouble with this, we like to elevate them with a taller ball so that they can acquire the positions. Next, we're going to go to the fake throw, jab step, and shuffle. This starts to create some stiffness through the lateral side of the trunk as you change directions and works on timing of stiffness as they create the ground contact with their plant leg. Some of the things we're looking for is whether or not the athlete is able to land in a position where they are able to make the next athletic move, meaning their feet are outside of their base of support and their weight's evenly distributed through the feet. We'll go to the side-to-side pogo. This is going to give the athletes some ability to push side to side and start to create those foot contacts that we're looking for. And then we'll parlay this into other power training with a more concentric or force-producing based type of change of direction. So for athletes who have trouble pushing out of the turnaround point of the cut, we like to use the lateral bound in this situation. These two activities paired up together work really well to help create the elasticity, force-producing, and force-absorbing capabilities of our athletes. Next up, we're going to do the hip turn versus band. This accomplishes a few things. Number one, we're going to use the band resistance to help create a counter rotation between the hips and the trunk. So you can see as I turn my hips, I'm able to maintain the orientation of my trunk toward the anchor point or where an athlete would be. Second, the band resistance is going to provide a little bit of resistance to push off with that left foot. So we're always cueing our athletes to escape space. Next, we'll open up with our multi-directional change of direction drill. This gives our athletes a lunge stop. We do a quarter turn, then they get to work on a lateral braking step, and finally we're going to do another quarter turn where they get to work on a retreating braking step. Then we'll start to actually get into some speed work. We're going to begin with a half kneeling three-step burst from a lateral position. This allows our athletes to work on pushing out of the turnaround point of a cut. Because they're starting with a low center of mass, they can work on feeling the trajectory of their body, aligning everything from ankle to their opposite shoulder as they create a horizontally directed force. This is going to be essential for effective change of direction skills. Next, we'll elevate their center of mass and work on a lateral stance sprint start. This, again, forces the athlete to find this horizontally directed force with a higher center of mass. So from a more inefficient position, they need to find medial contacts on that trail foot leg and actually propel their body across the screen. You'll see in some of these reps, I direct myself too high and rely on a high frequency of my leg, whereas some I'm able to project in a way that allows me to get more congruent steps between the left and the right sides. And finally, I add this little hand twitch that actually helps create a little bit of tension on the lateral side of the core and gets my arms whipping faster so the athlete can orient their body in the intended direction of travel. Notice here how the hand does preset my tension and allows me to whip through and finish this sprint very aggressively. This was actually one of the better reps out of the few that I saw. And finally, we'll finish with a reactive drill called the cone stack. This is best done with a group of athletes who can compete against each other. It doesn't matter what side you start on, you're always going to get some element of a lateral step with a wide plant angle and a low center of mass. You're going to go back and forth creating these quick change of direction angles that allow your athlete to learn how to be efficient in context. Hey coach, thanks for taking the time to watch this video. I hope you got as much out of it because I certainly enjoyed making this content for you. I want to finish with one final thought that I think is really essential to any kind of speed training content that you're going to consume, but especially with respect to this video. You might look at this program and think it's very, very simple, and that is the truth. This program is simple, but let me tell you something. I could give this program to two different coaches, maybe you, maybe somebody else, and you could end up with completely different results. So when I talk about the principles of understanding what appropriate level change is, what a wide plant angle looks like, what it looks like to actually capture medial foot contacts, being able to detect and correct these faster than other coaches is what's going to set you apart. Not fancier drills, not new content, knowing how to do the basics and the common things uncommonly well. Coach, I appreciate you. Again, thanks for watching. If you could like and subscribe to my channel, I would appreciate it because we'll keep you informed anytime new videos drop.